The International Solar Alliance is a multilateral treaty-based organization which today has 116 member countries. Over the next few months, before the end of the year, we expect 4 more countries to join, which will take us to 120. And this tells you of the progression of the ISA membership. Together with the progression of the membership, the key issue is the alliance is about making solar as the energy source of choice in various countries. And being the energy source of choice means obviously that you have to advocate for it. And therefore we produce a large number of reports on the progress in energy technologies, in energy markets, in energy investments every year. We focus on the ease of doing solar for different countries so that investors know how easy it is. We also, to enable people to have confidence to invest in markets where money is not going right now, we have created last year a global solar facility with an insurance fund and a payment guarantee mechanism so that investors feel comfortable. The solar industry as a whole has pulled in record amounts of investment. Last year it was about $310 billion. This year it's expected to cross $380 billion. But the vast amount of the world did not receive 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5% of that amount. All of Africa, for example, received 3% of the $310 billion that was invested last year. This is why the payment guarantee mechanism and the insurance mechanism is aimed at enabling investment, but not only in large projects, in small projects. We are talking of mini solar plants, we are talking of solar mini grids, we are talking of rooftop solar, we are talking of solar rooftops, solar cold storages, and so on. At the same time, we also want that there are internal, national organizations that can enable this money to be used. We want to identify startups. In the past year, we have identified 20 startups in Africa. We are working with them on bootstrapping camps to help build up their capabilities in terms of enabling them to receive monies, equity investments. We are to help them develop technological partnerships, to help them with brand image. We would like some of these 20 to become the Amazons of tomorrow, providing solar products and services in Africa. And most of all, we are also focusing on the next challenge in solar, which is to use hydrogen as a carbon-free fuel where you can't use electricity. Green hydrogen is important for us, and we are therefore looking at sharing information that countries of the world are doing on hydrogen, providing the training that is needed for green hydrogen, trained professionals to come into the market, and for matchmaking of developers of green hydrogen with the suppliers of finance for green hydrogen. These are the kinds of issues that are there on the assembly as we meet now. But without further ado, let me introduce the president of the International Solar Alliance and then the co-president, who are the ministers respectively from India and France respectively. And then I would request all the other ministers to briefly, for a minute or two, talk about their views on solar and how the Solar Alliance can help them. And we then look forward to your questions as well. Sir.
Ministers, Excellencies, friends from the media. The International Solar Alliance has emerged as a force for the good in this world. As the Director General informed you, We in fact already have 120 member countries. And there are also a number of member countries who have signed, but we still have to ratify. So they will ratify it and become member countries. We have a large number of partner organizations. Most multilateral development banks are our partner organizations. So this emerged as a huge, huge organization. And it has started delivering. Today, at the start of the assembly, we dedicated 4 projects which had come up in 4 different countries. Before this, we have completed 7 projects which have been dedicated. We will be completing about 12 projects again by December. So this the organization has started developing. This organization has a salient it has a salient requirement, it has a salience. The reason for this salience is this, that there are about 733 million people in this world who do not have access to electricity. Now we in the International Solar Alliance believe that it is our mission to ensure access to these people and ensure access using renewable energy, using solar energy. In renewable energy, solar has the most potential, it is the best because it is available for a longer period of time, both in terms of seasons as well as in terms of number of hours per day. Today itself, when the 4 projects which were inaugurated, one was solarization of Parliament building, the other was solarization of health centers. We've solarized schools, health centers, Parliament buildings across different countries in Africa, mostly in Africa. What the International Solar Alliance has been doing is, it has been providing expertise, hand-holding, support. It provides training support. It has set up training centers in countries across Africa so that technicians can be trained. It has a program for viability gap funding so that projects which come up in the developing countries, viability gap funding is available. Today we decided, all of us, all the honorable ministers here, together we decided that we'll increase the viability gap funding from 10% to 35%. So this will enable more investments to flow into Africa. Today we also discussed how we can replicate what we have done in India, in other countries, the regulatory mechanism, the techno-regulatory framework which we have put in place, which has enabled investments to come in India. We'll share that experience with all the countries so that a similar techno-regulatory framework, etc., can be replicated along with this, dispute resolution mechanisms and payment security mechanisms so that private investments can come. Because without private investments, by public investments alone, we cannot ensure universal access to electricity, because no country has enough money to set up all the capacity which it needs. Private sector investment is essential. And we need to de-risk investment so that private investments can come. For de-risking that investment, the International Solar Alliance has set up a fund which will de-risk investments in these countries, in the developing countries. So that fund has components, as the Director General told you. It has an insurance component. So that insurance component ensures the project which is set up. It has a payment security mechanism component. So that whenever any generator generates electricity and supplies electricity, payment security is ensured. Now with these mechanisms, and also after putting these regulatory mechanisms in place, with these mechanisms we are certain that investments will start flowing into Africa, especially those countries which have problems of energy access to all their people. We expect green finance also to become available, and partner with us in the funds which we are setting up. And once that happens, once the green funds start flowing as per the commitment made by the developed countries in COP21 about investments in green funds, once the green funds start becoming available at scale, we'll have projects, renewable energy projects being rolled out, solar energy projects being rolled out at scale throughout those countries which have problems of access to energy. You can't have any development without access to energy. So this is the key. And the International Solar Alliance has been formed to make it possible. We believe that climate action is just not going to happen unless we solve the problem of energy access. You can't have any energy transition unless and until you solve the problem of energy access. Access first and then transition, or access using green energy. That is our philosophy. So that unless you solve this problem, the climate action will not really work. And that is the problem which the International Solar Alliance is there to address. And this, as I said, this is an alliance which all of us work together for the common good. This organization, I think, is one of the most critical organizations as we take on the challenge of global warming. Thank you.